But here, Pastor Renato, David does something interesting in the text. He describes two things that don't mix. He describes oil and water. When they're shook up together, they blend. That's what you call diversity. We might be different, but can we lay aside our differences and come together and blend together? Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, I need you. Yeah, listen, we're all in this thing together. I saw a lady's shirt who said the other day that we are stronger together. And the Bible declares in Ecclesiastes, if one prevails against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Tell your peer partner one more time, say, neighbor, I need you. And I believe that God would do a great thing. God would do some marvelous things. God would do some wonderful things when we can come together and be unified, both in our communities and in our congregation. Here it is in this text before us today, Psalm 133. If we're going to all get along together, if we're going to experience the satisfaction and the joy and the pleasure of all of us getting along, I want to lift up these three things, and I'll be up out of your way. So you can go ahead and get to your dinner, your brunch, whatever you're going to do on today. But if we're going to have unity as a priority and experience the beauty and the benefits and the blessings of togetherness as one, David lifts up these things from this text from us, and I believe that it will help us as we move forward so we can just get along together. Can I lift up these 3 points and I'll be up out your way? First thing our text will show us here today is he says, behold, how good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together. In other words, all of God's people. Here it is, David, if we're going to get along together, first we must be a communal people. The psalmist opened up with giving us a beautiful picture. What unity looks like, the imagery commands and demands our attention. That David uses this word, behold, in the text. It literally means to look at a thing with interest. It means to look at it intently. It means to look at what's going on intriguingly. David says, you got to come see this for yourself. He says, if you're not there, you're going to miss it with your own eyes. You don't want to miss what's happening right before us. Look what's happening. David tells us you won't believe it unless you see it for yourself. He says, behold, how good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters to dwell together in unity. Church family, I believe that life is so much more pleasant and enjoyable when we can get along together. When God's people are united together, when God's people are together, it demands the attention of the world. It is a wonderful and beautiful thing when God's people are experiencing unity. How many of you know that you cannot move forward and there can be no progress if you got people going in different directions and having different distractions? He says in the text, I like how the NIV says it, he says you got to live together in unity. There's no division, there's no discord, there's no disunity. But church family, we should not be hating on one another. We should not be hurting each other. We should not be turning them down. We should not be talking about them, providing false information, because that's not what unity is. It was the Senator Raphael Warnock said it the other night best during the Democratic convention. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I am telling you, please exercise your right to vote. He says that concerning the individual seeking the highest office in the United States again, he said, I hope it's not a sequel of what happened election night 2016. But Dr. Warnock did says, because he does not know how to lead, therefore he wants to divide us. Because when we look at our country, the state and the condition that is in, there is a division that's taking place among all the people. Yeah, even also when you look at unity, it's not about uniformity, but it's about harmony. I looked today when I came in, I saw everybody on with their black and white. Maybe they knew that's what I like because I love black and white together. Yes, yet everybody doesn't have the same pattern or design or style or suit. Although our clothes are not made by the same designer, yet we decided to come together on this day and create a beautiful picture called unity by doing what was asked of us. I recall and I reflect upon a time when I was at Crichton College, when I was a student there at Crichton College. It was a group of singers called Summos. We was under the direction of Mr. Michael Williams. Michael Williams was a renowned opera singer, and there we was a mass choir together. Yes, I don't sing no more like I used to, but just if you don't believe me, I got a reward sitting at the house that I won most outstanding distinguished bass baritone 2 years in a row. I'm just saying. But there he would begin to teach us some songs, and the songs would start off in unison, with everybody singing the same note. But then we would split into 4 parts, and we created what was called harmony. Harmony is when different musical notes are combined, sung, and or played together, creating a beautiful sound. So when the sopranos, the altos, and the tenors, and the bass baritone all sung their note on the right pitch, we created what we call harmony. It's not because we were singing the same song that harmony existed, but we were all singing our part, even though we were differently. We came together and sung what was played together on the same song, and the end result was harmony. Why? Because although we were different, we still did our part. And my brothers and sisters, can I let you know that's what God is seeking from us? That's what God requires from us. That what God is looking for, harmony among his people. Listen, I may not be like you. You may not be like me. I may not be from the same side of the tracks you're from. I may not walk like you, talk like you, act like you. You may not be 6'3" tall, dark, and handsome like I am. But listen, my brothers and sisters, even though we are different, we can still come together and create this picture called unity. Yeah. My brothers and sisters, I believe when we come together and work this thing out, because the truth is, no matter your denomination, your faith, and your background, if you are a believer, a confessor of Jesus Christ, it was still one cross. It was one death. It was one burial. It was the same Jesus that got up and saved us all. Yes, my brothers and sisters, I believe that it's time for the church to come together and be together and be united together. The text says they dwell together, they abided there, they stayed right there in unity. This was not a temporary on and off thing again, but no, it was a permanent, a fixed situation. Because there is no isolation, there is no segregation. It is a place of integration, interconnectedness, and even interdependent upon one another. Our brothers and sisters, we can accomplish more as a people when we come together. We got to make up our mind that we're going to come together, live together, dwell together. There's no big I's and no little U's. Listen, church, if we are going to be unified, we can turn Memphis upside down. Just imagine what you can do in Parkway Village and what I can do over there in the hood of 38106 in South Memphis. When all of God's people come together, Memphis will look different. It will look better. Why? Because we're all coming together to do what God has required and asked of us to do. My brothers and sisters, I mean, we're not all alike, but we can create harmony in our differences. Yeah, my brothers and sisters, but not only is we got to be communal people, but secondly, the text will tell us that we got to have a continual process. The text says, look at verse 2. In verse 3a, it says, like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts, of his garment as the dew of Hermon, as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. Some of y'all remember when you was in elementary school, there you had what it was called similes. Similes are used to express comparison of two different things or ideas. They are figures of speech that were introduced. Similes like fine as wine, busy as a bee, clean as a whistle. Y'all get it, don't you? Life is like a box of chocolates. Those are examples of similes. But here, Pastor Renato, David does something interesting in the text. He describes two things that don't mix. He describes oil and water. When they're shook up together, they blend. That's what you call diversity. We might be different, but can we lay aside our differences and come together and blend together?